Hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora, and this video is just a brief appendix to, I guess, Let's Talk Lore as a series, but really just the finale episode. Because there were a couple things that I wanted to go over. The first is that there were a few comments that pointed out there was one that pointed out something that was very interesting that I wanted to test out, and another that pointed out something that I missed that I really shouldn't have, especially given all the time I took trying to trigger the event in and around this thing. And I was going to, I was toying around with the idea of making another video anyway, because I was thinking about what Redgrave said when we were recording about how when we're not explicitly recording for the episode, I believe he said, "I swear like a sailor." So, if you're interested in seeing whether or not that's true, I'm going to splice together something like almost 20 minutes worth of, I guess, deleted scenes from the previous episode of myself, JSF, and Redgrave just sort of talking when it wasn't explicitly said that the thing we were talking about was going to be in the episode. But we had a lot of good Dark Souls 3 discussions, and so that's mostly what you'll be hearing at the end of this video. There's nothing really mind-blowing, and a couple of things we did end up going over in the video proper. But there's a couple of things that didn't, including a method I came up for farming seeds of a tree of Gize, which, if you've seen any of my Dark Souls 2 content, you know that I've always been very intent on ensuring that I have, several seeds on my person at any given time, and that's something that in Dark Souls 3 is much more difficult. If you're like me and you really want to have more seeds in Dark Souls 3, you can stay tuned, and later on I'll show you how to do that. I won't be narrating it in the present, because I will have been talking about it with JSF and Redgrave, but also keep in mind that we were recording while we were taking our break in between the first 2 hours and the last hour, basically, of the episode. So at various points you'll hear me munching on something and doing that in the microphone, because again, we were recording and just talking, but it wasn't said that we were going to put that stuff in the episode. So I hope you enjoy that, and if not, then no big deal. But I thought I would give you an option of seeing, I guess, the deleted scenes, the director's cut of the episode either way. But on to the comments. First, we had a comment from the Southern Barbarian, J-Man II, who writes, "Not sure if you went over this yet, but if you clear the game with the Milkweed rune equipped and choose a sunrise ending, when you awake, you will be in beast form on the streets of Yharnam during the ending. Not sure if this is a bug or an oversight, but just thought it was worth your attention." And so, as you'll see, I was unable to replicate what J-Man pointed out here. So I'm going to assume that that was a bug in the immediate aftermath of the DLC that has since been patched. I thought it would have been very interesting, and so one thing I could have also tested was equipping the Beast rune and seeing if it flipped to the Milkweed rune, but it didn't happen here. So a very interesting possibility that I just wanted to test out and see whether that was something that, whether there might be something there. So thanks, J-Man, for bringing that up. And had that still been in the game, I would have said that maybe there was something there. But given the fact that it seems to have been patched, if in fact, whatever it exists, which I'm going to take your word for it and assume that it did, then I guess it was just a bug. But thank you anyway. And thank you to everyone for just, really, really nice comments. And, I've complained over and over again about how much time it takes to produce these videos, and for this series as a whole. But just know that I really do appreciate it, and it really is worthwhile when I see all the kind and thoughtful comments you guys share in the comment section. And I wish that I could get to them all, but unfortunately I just don't have the time. So we also got a comment from the Prince That Was Promised, Azor Ahai Mark, who writes, I sorta almost kinda contributed to this video. It was my suggestion to JSF on Reddit that maybe a that perhaps a hunter simply took Josefa's blood vial to Mirko's loft and had it taken from them. It's the closest I'll ever have to coming up with something relating to a lore theory, so I'll happily take it. So I just wanted to give the prince that was promised, Mark, credit for that thing that I assume that JSF had just forgotten who it was, because he's very good about giving credit and stuff. So, but that's what I wanted to do here. So thank you, Mark. And finally, we got a comment from Josh Tesler, who writes, I'm only at an hour and 30, but did you miss the new lines the doll gets when you talk to her by your grave? And this is something that the Memitim also pointed out, where he writes, is there any reason why you didn't talk to the doll in New Game Plus when she prays at your gravestone? I really like the dialogue she gives there. And no, there was no reason. It's just something that I didn't do. It's been a long, long time since I've played Bloodborne outside of the context of this playthrough. And it's been longer still that I've done anything in New Game Plus. So even though I have gotten that dialogue before, and I knew it was there, it just didn't occur to me while I was recording the footage for that episode to check that out. And I especially wanted to include this in there and to add this back in. And thank you to the Memitim and Josh for pointing out the fact that I missed this, because of course it would have been silly for me to not put this out there. Given how much time I spent trying to trigger the doll's appearance at the gravestone of the Paleblood Hunter from the previous cycle. So I'll turn it over to the doll in just a minute so that she can give the dialogue. But one thing I did want to note is that halfway, or right before the last line she delivers, she says you, but it's not clear whether she's talking directly to you as a new Paleblood Hunter or to you of the previous New Game cycle. The you in her last line of dialogue is very confusing and interesting, but even though I disagree with Redgrave on very many things, and especially when I'm much less willing to dismiss things as mere Easter eggs or as gameplay things. Redgrave's more willing to do that, and for the better for the most part, I think. But this is one case where I guess I'm inclined to agree with Redgrave that, it's really hard to reconcile New Game Plus in general and this line of her dialogue in particular with the story of the game, like to continue the story of the game into New Game Plus. Just because it works to a degree in Dark Souls, but less so in this game, I think. But that's something I've talked about previously, and I'm just rambling at this point. So I did think it was very interesting, and I just wanted to share it with each of you. So I'm going to let that dialogue play out, and then it's going to switch over to our deleted scene conversation from the recording for the previous episode. So if you don't want to see Dark Souls 3 spoilers, make sure that you click off after the doll's dialogue, because it's going to immediately switch over to Dark Souls 3 footage and Dark Souls 3 discussion. So thank you all again for the last 10 months for joining me and contributing to this wonderful and amazing playthrough. And I say that not to be self-congratulatory, but to congratulate each and every one of you, because if it were not for you, and to congratulate, but mostly to thank, because as I mentioned in the previous episode, were it not for all of you and your contributions, it would have just been me talking to myself for 20 odd hours, and it wouldn't have been anywhere near as interesting. So it'll be some time until Dark Souls 3 Let's Talk lore, but I do intend on streaming at some point soon. Unfortunately, it's really, really hot in my apartment again, because though they turned off the heat, they did not turn on the air conditioner, and my comprehensive committee for my comprehensive exams, they weren't able to agree on a date for my comprehensive exam in the first 2 weeks of July. So it looks like, or at least hopefully, we'll be able to find a date in the latter half of July. So that pushes back Dark Souls 3 Let's Talk lore a little bit more. But I do intend to start it as soon as I can, as soon as I have time. So thank you all very much for joining me for this really rambly and sort of nonsensical Appendix deleted scenes episode. But I hope you enjoy it nevertheless. and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
This grave stands in memory of a hunter I once knew. Though enchanted by the dream, he remained strong and eventually saw the light of dawn. I pray that you found meaning and comfort in the waking world. The
but at least for now, we have that still in Dark Souls 3, and that's something I actually want to talk about.
Where is that in Dark Souls 3?
What? You
The Filing Shrine.
don't know about the tree jump?
Oh, the tree jump. Yeah, okay,
Because
sure. I thought you were talking about like some big sequence breaking,
no.
and I was like, wait, what?
Well, but it changes, like, it raises a lot of very interesting questions in, like, with respect to Dark Firelink.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because
no, it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. It's because you're never supposed to be able to go there in Dark Firelink.
But
so the fact that they
JSF, have you heard of and I feel stupid because I'm mostly just asking you this because A, he's Australian, and B, he, like, when he made basically what he did is he was commenting on a bunch of my, like, blind playthrough videos. Okay. And what he said is that, he's like, I hope you don't take offense. Like, I've been watching your channel for a while, and I want to contribute for, like, the Dark Souls 3 Let's Talk lore. Like, he's actually pretty, like, he seems knowledgeable, so, like, but he mentioned at the outset, he's just like, I'm in Australia, just like JSF. So I figured he might have commented on your stuff at some point.
He might have. I've got quite a few Australian
NSF is his NSK. But yeah, he pointed out that they've patched the game already. And
they got rid of something.
Well, but the hitbox
they
changed.
passed it and they rolled it the fuck back.
But it's like you can still do the jump, and so he suggested.
I'm seeing messages there,
and he suggested that FromSoft actually, like, it's working as intended, kind of like Poise.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Poise.
Because they were really
done to Poise.
And I guess the sequence break.
You bastards! You destroyed it all.
Oh my god. Well, the problem is...
It's like the Planet of the Apes.
If, in fact, it's working as intended, the fact that they actually use the same name for something that's completely... it's basically agility.
No, it's turned off.
Well,
Poise does literally nothing.
It apparently affects your iframes and your V-frames.
Nope. No? It does literally nothing.
I don't know. Well...
I don't care enough to test it.
But insofar as...
You bastard!
Insofar as the tree skip jump was intended, which is yes, I agree, it's a huge if.
Fuck off.
But insofar as it is... Because, just listen for a second. So, the chest that contains the covetous silver serpent ring...
Yeah.
Right.
...is the same chest as the one at Firelink.
Yes.
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 And so, though you could say that's just because you were never intended to go there, on the one hand, yes, I agree. But on the other hand, the Shrine Handmaid is connected.
It's parallel. That is the Firelink Shrine if you didn't link the fire in Dark Souls 1.
But why is it where it is, though?
Because time and space are convoluted.
But everyone always says that that's an explanation, but you don't need to actually invoke that.
It's stupid. That's why I'm not doing Dark Souls 3.
Emma explicitly says, right, in the intro you get the transitory lands of the Lords of Sin to converge. And then Emma explicitly says the churning homes are converging at the base of the castle. That's why, like, Redgrave said that in his video that he did, because we were talking about it before. It's like the big crunch. Everything is being drawn back toward Filing Shrine, because Filing Shrine is apparently also the kiln of the First Flame. So everything's being drawn back toward there.
And you see, when you go to the kiln...
Geography doesn't make any sense.
That you see that it's like the First Flame is serving as sort of like a center of mass, that everything is being pulled towards it.
Yeah, it's like a vortex, like a black hole. It's pulling everything toward it. And there's just ash... From then on, there's nothing else.
And so, I don't know, but it's interesting. Like, I think that there's lots to talk about.
Here's the thing about Dark Firelink, right? Dark Firelink is, and I'm not a programmer very well, but most likely that is literally exactly the same map with different flags set.
Mm-hmm.
And
different skybox.
Different, yes, make it darker, swap the enemies out, replace them with Black Knights.
Because the tree is linked too. The tree where you get the giant seeds, that's linked as well.
It's still there. So the thing is, like, they've swapped out what spawns on the map. So the Estus Shard won't spawn on the map when you're in there, but the Covetous Silver Serpent Ring will spawn because it's in the chest. Mm-hmm. That's basically my explanation.
So if you leave it, if you leave it there, if you don't take it at Firelink,
yeah, you can open that chest either way. In the same way you can buy the
it's weird that I would love to look at the code reason for why the chest, there's only one chest but there's two maps. Mm-hmm.
Well, for the same reason as well that the presumably that the giant seed tree, that if you have a seed that you haven't picked up yet,
it's available.
You go to Dark Firelink, you can pick it up Dark Firelink.
Yeah. Because Dark Firelink is just regular Firelink with different flags set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The difference is that Bloodborne was good.
Yo, Dark Souls 3 is amazing. What are you talking about?
It is amazing, but the lore is not.
I disagree.
Well, no, see, I think Dark Souls 3 is a game of halves. Everything from Undead Settlement through to Profane Capital is like one set of lore, and that's very straightforwardly explained through item descriptions, and then everything from everything involving Lothric, Archdragon Peak, and Untended Graves is incredible. Separate. Yeah, it's incredible, and it is told completely differently, is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like because Miyazaki joined like halfway through the production, didn't he?
It feels like two different games. It really does.
Yeah. And that stuff with all the crap with, like, them trying to ascend into angels, and you got dragons, and you've got this...
It's super cool.
Yeah, this, like,
it feels like there's a pre-Aldrich and a post-Aldrich Dark Souls.
My favorite part...
That's basically how I see it,
My favorite part of Lothric Castle has got to be the... It's got to be the statues of the primordial serpents.
Oh, yeah.
I love those things, man.
And they have wings, and it's like not clear if those are the angels or if those are just like epaulets that they happen to be wearing.
Well, it's
I don't know.
But it's so creepy though. I mean, the first time I looked at it in my blind playthrough, I laughed for like 5 minutes straight because I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I had someone pointed out in the stream.
Yeah. Oh god, it's so funny.
Yeah, but like the angel stuff and everything to do with Archdragon Peak is great.
Yeah.
The Untended Graves, while I really hate the whole time and space is convoluted stuff, it's interesting.
It is.
And I'm down with that. The whole Lothric Civil War is super interesting.
It is, yeah.
Between like the Lothric Knights and the Winged Knights.
The Angels, yeah.
It looks like it's between Red Knights who use lightning buffs and Blue Knights who use blessed bluffs.
Blessed bluffs.
Yeah, so there's like this whole civil war going on, which is super cool. And like
the Pilgrim Butterflies are amazing.
The whole Pilgrim Butterflies are so
Did either of you guys experience the graphical glitch with them?
No, but I saw it when it happened to you.
It looked like they're going to rave. They're all like tie-dyed and shit.
Oh, nice.
There was 2 of them too, and I was like, "What the fuck is this actually intended?" There was something else I wanted to. Oh yeah.
And like the soul of
Irithyll, man. Irithyll is fucking amazing. I love Irithyll.
Yeah, Irithyl's lovely.
Irithyll is Cainhurst. What Cainhurst should have been.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and the whole Patches Grey Rat thing, I think, is really cool as well.
I like it, but I've never got it to work properly, and I just end up giving up.
You can make Grey Rat survive.
Yeah, I've never.
Thing, but only on New Game Plus.
What? He can survive in Castle Lothric?
Yes.
Ow.
I never bothered getting it.
Here's how it works, and it's so stupid. You have to get the armor to give it to Sigvard, so that Sigvard saves Grey Rat in Irithyll. Then you need to also... Okay, no, here's what you have to do. You need to buy a set of armor from Patches and not give it to Sigvard. And then in your next playthrough, you give that set of armor to Sigvard, and Patches also has a set of armor. and Sigurd will save him in Irithyll, and Patches will save him in Lothric.
What?
If you tell him he went to Lothric dressed as the Onion.
That's fucking brilliant. Yeah, in stark contrast to Bloodborne, I think they did a great fucking job with Dark Souls 3's New Game Plus.
Well,
I think they did a great job.
New Game Plus, really.
No, it doesn't. I think they did a great job with the NPCs in Dark Souls 3, with the exception of that some of the quest lines are fucking ridiculous.
I don't know how you could figure them out without guides and shit.
Archdragon Peak is bullshit.
It's all right. It's interesting.
It's
the whole thing with Crestfallen was pretty cool, I thought.
No. Archdragon Peak, getting to Archdragon Peak is bullshit.
Well, I figured it out.
Fuck you.
Well, but I was also playing online. Were you playing offline?
No, I was playing online.
There was a message there when I went there that said try gesture. And then...
That's possibly the one I left.
It's
maybe.
like I'm supposed to go back to an area I've cleared already with a gesture?
Yeah, I did.
Fuck.
I figured it out.
Fuck you, Mr. Wonderchild.
Well, and
it's also like Sirius's questline is bullshit. Like you have to go back to the Pit of Hollows.
Well,
and like there's no indication whatsoever.
No, sure there is.
That's what
sure there is. No, yeah, the blooming green blossom. It says that she when she goes to the Pit of Hollows.
I've gone to the Pit of Hollows. It says that.
And she there's a special green blossom that's only 10 souls that the handmaid has. That says that she's gone to the Pit of Hollows. Although, but in your defense, though, you have to actually go not to the Pit of Hollows itself, but in front of where the boss fog used to be. That's where her sign is. Whereas if you go to the Pit of Hollows, you won't find her. Because
also, you have to go back to the bridge after playing the bridge.
That
no
is really
reason
stupid.
whatsoever to
really,
do that.
Really dumb.
Really obnoxious.
Because you should be able to see it, or they should have just put the sign before the gate. Before, like, the thing spawns. Because otherwise, who's going to go back, right?
Yeah. There's no reason to go back.
Well, basically what I've learned, and we'll see how well this actually works for, like, you know, subsequent playthroughs of, like, whatever next game they come out with, is you can, like, that there's always something that happens, like, if you go back to the start of wherever it is that you first met an NPC. I've learned that's, and I went back and I found I had no fucking... With what's his face, the Aegon of Kareem. I don't know how I forgot that name, but how, I thought that he killed Yoel of Londor. I was so set to like kill him, and then I just found his corpse, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, because they set him up as like the
Well, he's such an asshole.
And then he does.
Yeah, he's such an asshole. But
have you got the thing where like? He'll try killing you if you corrupt Irina.
I haven't brought myself to doing it yet. But I did make her a firekeeper though.
It's actually a really cool thing because like if you fully corrupt her, she asks you. She like is crying, and then if you put on Aegon's gauntlets, and touch
she says like why
she thinks it's him, and she says you promised you'd kill me if I was corrupted. Please do so.
Easily I think the Souls game with the most in depth and like. The most possibilities in terms of like how it is that the NPC quest lines play out.
Yeah, which is kind of a pain if you're trying to platinum it.
Well, I'm going through that now. I just finally went into New Game Plus with my regret character.
I did that on release. I was like, I'm going to get this over with, and then I'm going to go do.
Have you guys seen that? There's that like checklist that I've been using. A fucking godsend. That someone made it on Reddit.
I've got a ring checklist. It's the only one I've got left.
It's actually like you could hide things that are completed and stuff, and it has checklists for all like the different things. So it's really, really, really fucking helpful.
Nah, I basically my goal was like, okay.
So you've already platinumed
Dark Souls 3. I platinumed it like 4 days after the game came out.
Another friend of mine's platinumed it as well.
But if only, like, see, I guess the difference there is that, like I was saying to you guys last week, was that, I spent more time editing the footage of the game than I did actually fucking playing it for the first couple of weeks.
Basically, I was like, I'm going to do nothing but play Dark Souls 3, and then I'm going to obliterate.
Yeah.
I got every single item in the game, with the exception of a Proof of a Concord.
Oh, god damn it.
Dark Moon Knights never worked for me.
The PvP in general is a fucking mess.
Yeah, I had Dark Moon equipped for the entire time I was grinding on the Knights, which was something like 20-something hours.
That
and I
had Dark
never
Moon
got
equipped
summoned.
for the entire
I
game.
created a build specifically for it so that I wouldn't go. So I have a basically brass set, parrying dagger, and falchion. And I purposely didn't upgrade any of my equipment or my weapons past +8, so that I could go down to +6 and up to +10. And I capped my level, I think, at 85 or something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The only evidence I have that Dark Moon even works is that they showed up when I was a Mound Maker and I was invading people.
Yo,
Yeah, exactly.
it happens all the fucking. So me and my best friend, the Trash Man, who's like whenever there's more than one person in my videos and we're trolling people, it's always the Trash Man who's the other person. We're working on a video called the Candlestick Clergy, where we're wearing the Archdeacon set. With our Bam Bam and Dwango builds, like they look like aliens pretty much. And where basically the two of us, we just we use the dried fingers, and then we just fucking stand there and repeatedly dunk our head into the wax. And it's just fucking chaos because like someone will invade and then a blue will come and then another person will invade and then like every now and then one of them will come in, but like these builds are so like the way we created them kind of unintentionally overpowered. But basically with the two great clubs swinging at you, like there's no way these invaders are able to get away. Plus I figured out how to farm seeds, which is something that I thought you couldn't do until I watched a speed run.
Wait, don't they only spawn after you kill an invader?
No,
You just have to be invaded.
there's a random chance. In Scholar of the First Sin, for example, the place where the seed was, there was an invader. So all you had to do was you would spawn, walk over to where the invasion is triggered, and then jump off the cliff. And then each time, and then so you would farm seeds like mad
every time you got invaded. Yeah.
But in this game, there's nothing like that. Except I was watching a speedrun, and then the speedrunner, I think it was Distortion 2, who's fucking amazing. He was going into Irithel Dungeon, and
with Alva.
Yeah, with Alva, and he basically in anticipation of the invasion gets the save quit ready, so that all he has to do is hit yes, and it cancels out the invader and allows him to quit. So what I've been using is Kirk in Cathedral of the Deep, standing like right in the middle of that one kind of circular thing on the floor. I let him invade 4 times, save quit each time, and then for the 4th one, I walk out of the way and then use the coiled sword to go back to Firelink. And so I've been farming seeds like that because it's infuriating not having seeds against some of these fucking invaders. I get so pissed off. If you watch the I know it's like 5 hours, but the 3rd live stream video I uploaded, the last hour and a half is, that's what I was saying earlier, Redgrave, if they've seen that video, they've seen me swear before, because like the entire time it's just like, fucking idiot, I can't believe this fucking guy. Just getting so salty.
I was fortunate enough to play the entire game over the opening weekend, and I don't know if you guys are into fighting games or not.
I suck at them.
Whenever like a new Street Fighter comes out, like Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 just came out. Like the opening weekend you play Street Fighter 5, if you have any semblance of skill
you just destroy everyone, right?
You're just going to destroy everyone online. And like that was me with Dark Souls 3, was just like people would invade me and I would just like obliterate them, and I would invade people and I would just like obliterate them.
But now every single fucking invader has a goddamn Estoc and a goddamn fucking Cestus. And it's so just like, why? Why? But I guess for the same reason,
because no poise.
That's why. Fucking Hable gestures in Dark Souls 2. I can tell you exactly
why. It's because poise doesn't exist.
But it's just, But like, I don't know. I've just never been the person to, okay, this is currently overpowered, so I'm just going to only use this now. Until they patch it, and then they find out whatever the next, like everyone jokingly calls it the meta. Whatever the next really overpowered thing is after that patch, and then they just use that. Like, what is the point?
They want to win.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's no place for fucking my brand of honor in Souls games anymore.